Welcome back, everybody. I am Chad. This is Carter Engineering and Fabrication, and this is week 3 of 2025 of me bringing you guys along for what I'm working on. So let's get into it. All right, so jumping right into it, I lost some good GoPro video today from a dumb, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop the back cover off. And the big thing I think I noted last week was the axle end play. As the clutch packs wear in the limited slip, it opens up the end play, and that's bad for disc brakes and brake pad knockback. So here I am just bumping the axles to the outermost position so that I can check it. I think I hold the feeler gauge up here in a second, but basically gonna just feel between the axle and the pin and see how much space I have. By the math, I should have around 10 or just a little less than 10 thousandths, and that's what I'm checking here first. Right side does not go in, everything's good. Left side I think ended up being around 12 thousandths, which is pretty good. If I could do this all over again, maybe I'd go with like a 9-inch style bearing, or maybe even something a little more exotic. But for a hot street car, I think this will be fine. This isn't a track car. This is just a burnouts and ice cream kind of car. So good double check and a good learning experience. Here I am noting it on the housing what those were, so I can remember. Yeah. Yeah, and here's a look inside. You see the wave spring, and then I think I know. Yep, right there. So I'm checking each axle clearance to the pin with the feeler gauge. So jumping into the big brakes, just a refresher from last time, we're using the Camaro ZL1 calipers as well as Tesla electric parking brakes. I've got them set up on the table. This is a dramatic reenactment because, again, I lost the footage, but gave you another chance to practice with my RevoPoint Morocco scanner. I don't get to use it very much, and this is actual speed of me going around the part. I have the A-sub spray on it. I have it just kind of propped up so I can get all the way around. I was really concerned with bolt locations, and I think I show here in less than 2 minutes I go from a the beginning of a scan, or I go from starting to scan the part to a finished, meshed, ready to transfer to the PC scan. So all in all, for right around $1,000, this is a very, very powerful tool. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, like right there, I'm spinning around the meshed model, or I'm spinning around the point cloud, and then I'm meshing the model. So jumping ahead a little bit, here I am in Blender, and the RevoPoint software is pretty straightforward as far as exporting a mesh. The only thing I do in Blender is orient the part to a coordinate system, and that just makes it so much easier to manipulate in SolidWorks. So I literally bring in the STL, and then I orient it. Basically just a manual iterative approach. I haven't found a better solution yet. So jump to each plane, rotate, align it to features on the part as best you can, and generally speaking, that gets you pretty close. I think here I was trying to find the perspective settings, but anyway, just rotate, adjust, and this is a couple minutes. This is sped up a little bit, but a pretty easy way to go. Re-export the STL, and then the next step is going to be SolidWorks. So I don't know how to show this other than a giant montage, so I'm just going to let this rip through. Bringing in the mesh bodies into SolidWorks, and then starting to lay out the calipers as best I can. I have them in front of me so I can take manual measurements as well. Starting to lay out the rotor, the brackets, trying to figure out how this is all going to fit together. So I think this is about 5,000% speed. I wish I could model this fast, but not a chance. So this is a couple hours of work this afternoon. It's pretty relaxing. So I'm gonna point out anything exciting that I see as we go. I did realize here at this point that I had the parking brake interfering with the panhard bar mount, and I'm still a little undecided on the final location I want to set both the parking brake and the caliper, but I ended up mirroring it and setting the caliper to the rear side, and that seems okay. Here's a much slower, just me panning around the part, just so we can see what it's going to look like. I think it packages pretty nice, and the bracket seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to do it out of 3 pieces, a machine center and then 2 laser cut components. Should make it pretty easy to shim it in and out for any minute adjustments, although the measurements on the axles to the housing end side to side are pretty much dead nuts. So at this point, the next step is to 3D print some test pieces and do a physical mock-up on the rear end, make sure that all my dimensions are dialed. Here I am bringing the component into Bamboo Studio and splitting it up into its 3 respective pieces, getting those laid out on 2 different print trays. So as soon as I'm done with this voiceover, I'm going to fire the printers up, let those chug along overnight. So the Bonneville definitely deserves its own update. No work on the car this week as it was quite cold, but was able to go through the pretty extensive list of components and get the remaining items ordered, which means in the next few weeks, aside from a few back-ordered items, I'm going to have lots of parts to work on. So it's been a pretty great week. I was able to get some good work done on the rear axle assembly as well as getting the components ordered for the Bonneville. Feeling pretty good about that. The parts will come off the printer tomorrow, so I'll be able to check and see how the big brakes are going to work. Start ordering some finalized parts for that and jump into next week and see what's next. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and enjoy the pink rotor I printed for my fancy customer just to make him feel good. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next week.